All right, we have some big practice updates and some welcome returns and some other ones that might not be so good, but let's take a look at it nonetheless. Jauan Jennings is at practice today. If you missed it, he popped up on the practice report with a limited participation after what appeared to be a full participation on Wednesday. So typically when that happens, it is can be, I should say, an indication that a player got hurt in practice. But it does appear that Jauan looks good to go and will play in this game against Seattle. So what caused some initial ooh, is he going to play? Him practicing today is a good indication that he's ready to rock and roll. So that's good. Nick Bosa, we heard from John Lynch on this earlier this morning, and we see today that he returns to practice after missing the first 2 days. Again, why this is important is we see players miss the first 2 days all the time, but as long as they can put in, as my microphone keeps falling, as long as he puts in a Friday practice, that typically puts you on track to be able to play. And that will relate to another player, another superstar that we will be talking about here in a second. But it does look like Nick Bosa is trending in the right direction. When John Lynch was speaking about this on KNBR, he was essentially saying that they pushed him through practice last week and it was bothering him. So they took a different approach this week to kind of keep him out of practice, keep him off his feet. And as a result of that, he returns today, which is, again, a good indication. Also, John Lynch was optimistic about Nick Bosa's return. So that is good. And the San Francisco 49ers absolutely need this guy out on the field because they are so thin at the position. Now, this is the one where the concerns start to pop up a little bit. You have Trent Williams miss his third day of practice. And so the reason why this is concerning is the same exact reason why we talked about Nick Bosa. He is now in doubt to play in this game against Seattle. However, I want to say if there's any player who does not need to practice and can still play, it is Trent Williams. So until we hear that Trent Williams is officially out against the Seattle Seahawks, I would say there's a little sliver of hope that he could be able to play. Again, he's different. Not everyone falls into his category. Obviously, popped up with the ankle. And it was also interesting, too, from yesterday's practice report. It had a note on it that said it was like a rest, not injury related. So we'll have to wait and see what's going on with Trent Williams. But obviously, no, Trent Williams is cause for concern, considering he's the best offensive lineman on the team right now. And that would mean that the team would turn to Jalen Moore to fill in, which I have confidence in Jalen Moore. I think he's come along, and I think he's been playing well when he's asked to come in. And I think he had a pretty decent training camp this year. So if he were called upon, I think he'd be all right. But obviously, that remains to be seen. So it'll be interesting when we hear from Kyle Shanahan today to kind of give a little bit more insight into what is going on with all these injuries, and we will know more at that point. And we have some additional news on some other players who have or haven't practiced. I'll get to that in a second, but this one was, I think, a big one, just considering the fact that he is the number one wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks, and he has missed multiple weeks, but he is completely off the practice report or injury report, and he will make his return against the San Francisco 49ers. So DK Metcalf will be back. Obviously, he'll probably be seeing the likes of Renardo Green and Diamador Lenore. And if you remember, the last time these guys played, Diamador Lenore got a huge interception on a pass intended for DK Metcalf. So there, luckily for Renardo, who's a rookie, he does have some experience playing against DK already. So that is important to know. Now, there are some additional players who did not practice for the 49ers. Punter Mitch Wishnowsky. This pretty much is a strong indication that he will not play in this game against Seattle. Obviously, they signed Pat O'Donnell to the practice squad, so the 49ers will have another new specialist kicking for them in this game. So we'll have to see how severe the injury is for Wishnowsky, but the 49ers have an answer and a veteran in-house in O'Donnell. So Charvarius Ward didn't practice today. I think we were kind of, anticipating that. So he isn't going to go today or in this game, I should say, against the Seattle Seahawks, which again, he can take as much time as he wants. And defensive tackle Kevin Givens also will not go in this game, most likely, as he misses 3 straight practices after missing 3 straight practices last week. So probably no Kevin Givens, which, he's been a rotational interior defensive tackle. The 49ers have, used Evan Anderson and guys like that in his place. Also seeing that it does look like Darrell Luter Jr. is not practicing. So, he hasn't really been heavily involved all that much. But that's just another name of a guy who isn't practicing. Guys who are practicing, Kittle logs his second practice. Jauan Jennings back at practice. Bosa back at practice. Conley with a hamstring practicing. Christian McCaffrey practicing. Jordan Mason's practicing. Yetur Gross-Matos, who is expected to be activated off IR this week, is practicing, and Jonathan Feliciano. Now, we don't really know what Feliciano's status is. We will have to see if he will be activated from injured reserve or not. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if the 49ers will activate both Yetur and Feliciano, because that means they are required to cut 2. And obviously that is roster juggling, right? They have to probably cut someone that they don't want to. Then there's fear that they, get picked up and claimed by another team. So we'll see. It does sound like, though, YGM will be activated. So that's at least one roster move that will have to come down. That will likely happen on Saturday. And we'll have to see what is going on with Feliciano as well. But lengthy practice report. We'll have the official practice report from Kyle Shanahan. I think he speaks in about 30 minutes from the time that I've made this video. So we'll get the real spill here in a little bit. But that's your current practice update. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.